Will something happen in the Mercato? Absolutely yes. This is a promise that I make you. Not only exit, but also entry. New names, new ideas are popping up, like the name of Alexis Saelemaekers, but also the name of a left center back from Paris Saint-Germain, Beraldo. 6 days before the final gong of Mercato, and there is a lot of work to do. Something that I told you already in the latest videos, something that you already knew. But also something that is extremely clear in the post-conference of Juve Parma from Igor Tudor. He's asking, he's demanding, he's begging for new players to reinforce the team, and that message, I can tell you, arrived there in the offices of La Continassa. That will work. Now pay attention when I'm telling you less than 1 week to go with a lot of work to do. On the other side, don't believe the media, because the media, they will tell you, and they already tell us since so many months, for Juve to do Mercato, it's one player out, one player in. That's not the story. The story is that the budget that we have at disposal, that we park there, that we will be able even to increase a bit in the next days, we will need to spend it in a wise way, making the right choices. And that's what we'll speak about in today's video. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. If you are extremely curious about the Mercato, don't forget to follow the channel. Also, put that notification ring on, because crazy things could possibly happen this week. Subscribe if you didn't yet, because now we start. No? It's not one out, one in, but I'm sure that you already know, because if you are thinking logically, how many players did we sold? 4. Bangula, Wea, Alberto Costa, Douglas Luiz, officially out of Juve. How many entered? 2. Joao Mario and Jonathan David. That means that we already have a credit of 2 players. Park that number 2 there. 2 players still crediting, believing the media. On top of that, we saw Arthur with the flag of Gremio. We saw that Besiktas in the next few hours should officialize Jaló. And on top of that, there are the persistent, really increasing rumors of Atletico Madrid, Nico Gonzalez, Dusan Vlahovic to Milan, or, attenzione, Maccabi, Newcastle. We'll speak about that in a second. That means plus, minus, 6 players should join Juventus this week in 6 days. That means it's an average of 1 player a day. Do you believe? Do you believe it's possible? No. I would be extremely happy. 2 days ago, I asked 5 players. Not that I believed in it, but I said to be really complete and compete for the Scudetto, 5 players were needed in the different roles. They tell us 6 if we do the math. I'm happy, eh? Also for the channel, imagine every single day. Here we fly. Announcements, the player, imaging the Juve that could play already against Inter. Mamma mia. But it will not happen, and we all know about it. And that's where I tell you, we must think in a wise way. Spend the money in a wise way, making the right choices. Because I love what Gazzetta is selling us today. 3 players that we are on. Zhegrova, Beraldo from Paris Saint-Germain, left center back, and Molina from Atletico Madrid in a possible swap with Nico Gonzalez. Beautiful, eh? That would already help the team a lot if you're looking at the team with Beraldo, Molina, Zhegrova. Beraldo fighting with Kelly, Molina fighting with Joao Mario, Zhegrova reinforcing that offensive lineup that is extremely important in the way of playing of Tudor. Mamma mia. 3 players, I would already be happy with a Kolo Muani on top, because we speak about Kolo Muani, eh? And the team, I tell you, 4 players, we go. We can compete. We are obliged to compete. But it's impossible if you are thinking logically. Why? Because we must think wisely, and the 3 players that were actually mentioned by Gazzetta dello Sport, only 1 can join. Non-EU slots. Kosovo, Argentina, Brazil. You cannot. You have to take 1 of these 3 players. Up to you to write in the comment if it's up to these 3 players. Who do you want the most? Who is the most necessary for Juve? Zhegrova, Molina, or Beraldo? Write it in the comment section, because you cannot go for 3 players at today, except if suddenly they change from citizenship. But that's difficult to do in a few days, in 6 days to go. So you must choose. And then I tell you, we miss things wisely, because we still don't know what will happen with Dusan Vlahovic. We know that Juve is still on Kolo Muani. That should already have been with a black and white shirt. He should already have scored or that first or that second goal against Parma, starting or actually subbing in or playing together with Jonathan David. But that's not the case. Juve is on him since long. They were quite confident. That's the story. We know it from Comoli. We extend the loan. We have a great relationship with Paris Saint-Germain. And we are confident that he could be the player that can reinforce us next season. We all know that story. But in the meanwhile, on the 26th of August, he's still not there. Why? Because Paris Saint-Germain, they woke up and they increased the request. Where we thought that we already had a deal at 10 plus 40, 10 plus 45 for the French player. I said it's already a lot of money for Kolo Muani. But okay, because of the impact, because I know the guy, because I saw what he was able to give, because his sense of belonging to Juve, refusing all the other clubs, let's go for it. Don't think twice. Are we waiting for some players, some things to unlock? Maybe. But now they increase the request. 10 plus 50 is what Juve would be ready to offer for Paris Saint-Germain. I'm not even saying that these are the requests from the French club. Probably they are asking even more. But 10 plus 50 is huge. And I'm a big fan of Kolo Muani. Randall. Great, fantastic, but that's a lot. Would I spend 60 million now on Kolo Muani? No. Honestly, no. That was not my initial idea. Then people will even tell me, but last season we already paid. So it's more than 60 million. Last season is last season. We already had the return on investment. We were looking for a striker that was able to score some goals to bring in his Champions League, and that's what he did. That's what it is. Return on investment, great, fantastic. Now we think about a zero operation. We start from scratch. 60 million. And then, of course, you think immediately about Osimhen, you think about Gyökeres, players out of reach for Juve. Forget about it because of De Laurentiis, because of Gyökeres' will to go to Premier League. Forget. So 60 million. Can we find something else? Maybe. Probably. Šeško. Probably some other players that were there for 50, 60 million euro. Don't think about Serie A because for an average player, mediocre players, they are asking already 40 million euro. I think it's still a lot. I would not have done it in the beginning of Mercato. What about today? Probably yes. Because I will tell you and I will surprise you, it's probably the best solution. Because it's not 60 immediately. It's 10 plus 50. And with the 10 that you're investing today, you're keeping some budget for an extra player or maybe for 2, 3 extra players in these last days of Mercato. Because you don't spend immediately all your budget that you should have done for other players. So that loan with obligation to buy could be actually a good idea to unlock. It's too much, we all know it. But on the other side, you're already solving the next year problem because with Jonathan David and with Kolo Muani, you already have your strikers. Your strikers are already there. It's a problem that you don't need to think for next season when Dusan Vlahovic will surely not be there. And then you're looking at the possibility that Dusan is leaving already now, and financially it's even better because Kolo Muani should have a total cost per year of 10 plus 9 for this year, which means 19 million euro, paying the gross salary. While Dusan Vlahovic leaving today, we know that he had a value of 20 plus 24 for the gross salary. It's 42. So you're already saving a 20-ish million euro, which would be fantastic, ideal, of course, if you are able to sell Dusan Vlahovic. Otherwise, will be extremely tough in the financials books of Juve. Now, that being said, let me know what you think about Kolo Muani. Should we go for it or not? 10 plus 50, saving money for extra players, or you say no, give up and keep Dusan Vlahovic. Let me know. We'll come back on Dusan in a second, but what about the other players that we were mentioning? Zhegrova, Beraldo, Molina. Molina, Gazzetta is still speaking about it in a possible swap with Atletico Madrid. Beraldo, it's another player. Why? Because in the talks with Kolo Muani, Juve is speaking about Beraldo. Beraldo that I followed during that Club World Cup that would love to leave Paris Saint-Germain. Why? Because he wants to play as a starter. He's 21. He's a left foot center back. Great, huh? Because that's what we actually need. He's a player with potential. Is he a phenomenon of the defense? No, not yet, but he has margin to grow. 21 years. I like Beraldo. On the other side, we have a third name because you need to make some choices, and that name is Zhegrova. So what about Zhegrova? Zhegrova from Kosovo is a player that Juventus didn't give up on. Look at the social media hints, we know it. The like on the picture of Kenan Yildiz, he would love to join Juve. He would really love to join Juve. Juve already has an agreement with him, with the agent, everything according to the media. Juve calls, and he's in the first plane to Torino immediately. On the other side, from France, we have other reports that are telling us that l'Olympique de Marseille is still continuing to work for the player from Lille. They are on him, they would love to sign him, and they are telling us that even Zhegrova would still be open for OM. Why? Because he wants to leave Lille. For him, Juve is priority, but Marseille is still there. So pay attention for Zhegrova. Don't be sad, don't cry at the end. Juve is not moving because they went for Beraldo instead, and they couldn't go for him because we had one European slot, non-European slot to fill. And then there is that crazy idea, Saelemaekers. That could be possibly an idea that helps a lot. I know that now you will laugh, you will not be happy, you will tell me, Beppe, are you serious? Saelemaekers to Juve, mediocre player level of mid-table. Guys, we cannot go for non-EU players. You need to make some choices. Saelemaekers is from Belgium. And you know what? Saelemaekers can play on the left, can play on the right. I would be today much more reassured if you have as a left wing back, because Cambiaso is not there, a Saelemaekers than a Kostic, honestly. I would be much more reassured to have Joao Mario in tandem, in duo with Saelemaekers that can start, that can rotate there on the right side. A player that in his career he played left and right at Milan, at Bologna, at Anderlecht where he played. He's a specialist of the wings. He can play all these roles from right back to right midfielder, right wing back, right winger, and exactly the same on the opposite side, on the left side. That would be a smart idea. On the other side, pay attention, it's a player that Allegri doesn't want to let go, because he counts on him, because he knows the importance, because he needs to reinforce Milan and not to actually make sure that Milan is decreasing in strength. Also because that loss against Cremonese was not a fantastic one. On the other side, why are we speaking about it? Because that's the idea of Juve. You want Dusan Vlahovic, you want a striker, but you don't have the money to sign him. Well, give us Saelemaekers. At least we can speak. Would you do it? Let me know. Would you do it? You save on Dusan Vlahovic. You can go for Kolo Muani. You actually don't burn a European slot because you take a Belgian player. Would you do it? Let me know. There is another option, of course, because it will be extremely difficult to go for that one. It is the one that we are already speaking about since long, Arnau Martinez from Girona, Spanish player. So can we already scratch Molina from the list? I tell you yes. Then let's see. One thing is sure, everyone understood that we need a player there as a right wing back. We understood it clearly. Something that I told you, if there is one role as a priority that I would reinforce, is the right wing back. Corriere dello Sport is telling us, but pay attention because Dusan Vlahovic is making Juve shaking, and Gazzetta dello Sport is saying exactly the same. Milan, he would be ready actually to go there. Calma, because Gazzetta dello Sport is telling us that he would even be ready to stay the entire season, to let go his contract and then leave for free. 48 hours before understanding. 48 hours equals to the 28th of August. Do you remember that date that I told you? I always told you about 28th of August. Now, Alfredo Pedula is saying, look, there is a full availability from the Serbian player to reduce his salary demand to 6 million euro to go to Milan. On the other side, Matteo Maretto is telling us there is absolutely no availability for the player. He has no intention to decrease and to lower his request for the salary. We don't know. There is maybe one joker that is called Newcastle. Newcastle that was in the past already interested in Dusan Vlahovic, that when we offered him at a certain moment, they said no. But let's keep it as a third option with Alexander Isak going to Liverpool in these days. It could be that they come extremely strong on the player again, and that would actually satisfy everyone. He plays Champions League. If he loves the black and white colors, he can continue there with the Magpies. It's a player that will probably receive close to the salary demands, and Juve would even receive the value of the player. So Newcastle would be a fantastic last-minute opportunity. Juve, Arthur, Jalot are about to leave, so also they're great for Juve. Nico Gonzalez, we are waiting. Apparently, they offered us a possible loan for Nico Gonzalez that Juventus and Comoli refused. We cannot at the moment, so let's see. Good news from Brazil. Not only that Arthur and Jalot are leaving, Jalot from Portugal, of course. Arthur from Brazil is that Brazil, Ancelotti didn't call up Gleison Bremer. And that's a really beautiful one. I love that. Bravo, bravo Ancelotti. Continue to not call up our players. If other national team coaches are listening to us, don't call our players. Let them stay. In La Continasa, I'm more than happy. If you didn't yet, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza, Juve.